Because in order to elevate to that level that you really want to be, where you really making some money, it has to be a leap.
So I did all that by leveraging my personal credit.
And it may be a hard pill for the Black community as a whole to swallow, but the system is not broken. The system is working exactly the way it needs to.
Yo, what's up, beautiful people? I am back with another episode of the Wealthy and Healthy Podcast. It's your host with the most, KDK Capri, the mentor and the mentee. And I'm glad that everyone is tuned into this special episode. We got, like I said, we're starting to transition into the healthy aspect of, entrepreneurship. We talked a lot about finances in the last few episodes. We also talked about, the healing aspect of any successful entrepreneur. But today I want to start shifting into a different type of conversation, a healthier conversation, a more productive conversation than I've really had in with anybody. So in this episode, right, we are going to start talking about our relationship with food, how important it is for you to be successful and to be healthy at the same time, right? So I got a special guest for everyone today, and I want y'all to start taking notes, because this is going to be the way that these entrepreneurs, just like us, just like you, just like me, just like everyone that you might meet in your entrepreneurial life, in your career, in any type of business setting, right? This is how everyone needs to start moving. We want to be healthy. We want to be able to be productive. We want to be able to, spend money on the right things and be able to, just live a healthier lifestyle, right? And that's what I want to start talking about, living a little bit of an organic lifestyle. So just a little bit of backstory. When I first started out, I was pushing about 320. I'm back down to 240 at this point, right? Went into a whole fast for about 2 months, didn't eat any meat. Now I just fast probably like once a month, right? But I try to do like a whole week. But I say that to say everything that I've been doing for the last about 2 years, right? Changing my whole lifestyle, creating an organic lifestyle, essentially, has helped me level up my lifestyle, helped me be productive in my day, helped me make more money, for real. It's all about getting back to the bag, right? That's what we talk about in entrepreneurship. So I want you guys to start understanding what it takes to actually create an organic lifestyle all the way around, from what you eat to what you wear and to what you use in your house, right? So with that being said, I want to introduce this special guest today. We got Mr. David Alexander, and he is going to talk to you guys today about a lot of things. We're going to chop it up, right? We're going to chop it up. We're going to give y'all the real about what it takes to be successful in a healthier lifestyle, in the aspect of a healthier lifestyle, and how important that is to every single person trying to wake up in the morning and get to that bag. So, David, I appreciate you for coming on the podcast, brother. I appreciate the few conversations that we have had, and in those conversations, I felt like we definitely was vibing, and I definitely learned some things just by talking to you. So I'm glad that you came on the podcast today. So please just tell everybody where you're from, what you got going on, kind of like how everything's moving and shaking for you right now.
Yeah. First and foremost, peace to the sister. Thank you for bringing me on and having me. Hello to everybody out there. My name is Chef David Alexander, aka Chef Soul. I'm originally from Philly. I've been all around this place, all around this rock, you know what I mean? So I'm settled here right now in Williamsburg, Virginia. And I got a lot of things. I stay with a lot of things on the plate. I do consulting. I do private chef services. I do meal planning for a few clients. And I also partner with a deli down here, a Black-owned business, where I put vegan options on their menu. I'm a 30-year culinarian. I'm a third-generation chef. My daddy and my granddaddy were chefs. It's something that when I put that white coat on, I'm about that business. I take it serious from end to end. My food is safe, clean, handled properly. But my specialty is I'm a student of holism. I have 2 degrees. I just got my bachelor's degree last summer online from the University of Arizona. Go Wildcats, you know what I mean? And so I have a degree in complementary and alternative medicine. And basically, I cook. Hey, I'll parch a pig's punani if they paying for it. But my specialty is veganism, you know what I mean? Is vegan cooking and plant-based cooking, you know what I mean? And also specialty diets. I happen to work for a very prominent cardiologist in Houston, Texas, who opened a vegan restaurant, attached it to his medical practice. So you'll come out the clinic and come right and see me. I was the next doctor. So I'm claiming that I'm a doctor with it too. You know what I mean? Officially unofficial, you know what I'm saying? But no, but I take this thing seriously. And yeah, that's what I do. My main thing is to help people start the journey right here, because this controls everything. And if you're not straight right here, you're going to cheat, you're going to backslide. So I even invented, and soon I'm going to have it out in several different media, but I invented something called the urban transition diet, which is a realistic way of transitioning from heavy meat-based and dairy-based meals to a plant-based diet for somebody that lives in an urban lifestyle, meaning on the go, working maybe 2 jobs, you know what I mean, school, hustling too, you know what I mean, whatever. And so you don't really get a chance to make your own food a lot. You know, you may be ordering out a lot. So for those type of people, there's a certain way you can do it. There's a realistic way and a certain way you can do it. And I'm not one of them tree hugging, beat you over the head with veganism. I'm a realist. I believe in certain things like cheat days. Have a cheat day, because guess what? If your favorite food, because of the mind, body, and spirit connection, right? You having a bad day, you could be contemplating suicide, and a motherfucking cheeseburger save your life.
For
You
sure.
understand what I'm saying? Because you wanted some comfort food, you went and had it, you thought for a second, nah, I'm not gonna kill myself. She ain't worth it, he ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's real stuff, you know what I mean? Like, it's real life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm an advocate of cheat days. I'm also an advocate of rewarding yourself, you know what I mean? The same way you would do, hey, you know, we're not animals, but like you train the dog and you reward them, you got to reward yourself too. So maybe on the weekend you say, I'm gonna hit my favorite restaurant. The key, though, I believe, if I can help you here, what's going to happen is your body is going to tell you what it wants. After you introduce certain things into your diet through these means, after a while, your body going to say, I don't want that cheeseburger. I want some of them fried cauliflower dipped in sweet and sour sauce that I had. That was banging. I don't want chicken nuggets. I want that. Your body going to say, we rather have that. So it's in a sneaky way. I'm trying to plant a seed. I'm not trying to beat you over the head, but I'm realistic about it. I don't want you jumping right onto veganism because you might hurt yourself. And 2, it's scientifically true that some people may lack certain vitamin nutrients and have certain health conditions where a vegan diet might actually be deleterious to them, you know what I mean, or bad for them, you know what I mean. So they may need to eat a little bit of meat protein, you know what I mean. So of animal protein, you know what I mean. So but all things for a certain time. But either way, I can help you cook your food better. Okay, you want chicken, you want fried chicken, I'm gonna show you how to air fry it or bake fry it with a healthier oil in a healthier manner with a healthier dredge instead of what you used to, that's fat and artery clogging. You dig what I'm saying? So I pride myself. I can cook. I can make anything you've ever eaten, anything on this planet. I can make a plant-based version of it. I don't care what it is that you have from any culture on this rock. I can cook anything from any culture. You know what I'm saying? You want Indian, you want some masala, you want Asian, you want Caribbean, you want, you know what I mean? You want to go to Peru, where you want to go with it, you know what I mean? So just over a 30-year career, I didn't have to go to culinary school because I learned hands-on. I asked questions. I learned with some bomb chefs. I've served, I'm not even going to run down the list of stars I served. I happen to work for a very prominent company that's in the arenas and sports arenas and concert venue business. So I was a supervising chef. So we got to do things for, name it. You can name somebody from any genre of music. You want to go Meghan Trainor, Justin Bieber, Paul McCartney, Madonna. You want to go Puffy and them. And you know what I'm saying? At one point in time, I was I'm talking about, I walked in the room and put a plate in front of them and talked smack to them, like with that Philly swag, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I tried to holler at Usher mom, like, ooh, what's up, mama? You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm very, very fortunate in that. And, you know, as a young man in Philly, I was actually in an R&B group. I was in a Jodeci, Boys to Men type R&B group for most of the 90s. I got to travel and see a lot of things. So in this life, I've been able to make money and feed myself off of my two loves, food and music. You know what I mean? So I keep all of that involved with what I do. Lastly, I host a podcast where I help men discuss anger and well, not just men, but especially male anger, but also depression and anxiety among people, because I am a person who suffered that, was broken and depressed and super depressed. 20 years ago, I almost committed suicide. But a year ago, I hit rock bottom. And what you're looking at is a new and improved me, because I was able to use health and wellness and what I know about health and wellness, different therapies, treatments, and some outside the box stuff. Talk therapy, all type of different therapies. So I share all of that on my podcast. You know, I'm trying to help people heal. I believe it's my God-given job. I believe we all have something to do in this life, and something that our piece to add to the universe and to the whole picture. And this is my piece to help men know that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to talk. It's okay. You know what I mean? Somebody's listening. You ain't the only one going through stuff. It's better ways to manage your anger. It's better ways to manage stress and anxiety. And I know a whole bunch of different ways to do that.
You know, like you said, being broken and coming back and, you know, improving yourself and always, you know, keeping yourself, being able to lift yourself up. Yeah, the big boys, the major leagues, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's more powerful to talk when we talk about health and wellness. So I kind of want to rewind, right? So let's talk a little bit about what happened in that 30-year experience of just culinary arts and your journey. Like you said, you were depressed, you would hit rock bottom. But let me ask you this. What about the food and the wellness part always brings you back up, and what about that do you feel like, you know, calls you to, you know, help and heal people through food and heal people through talk therapy? Because, you know, like you know, traditional therapy isn't for everybody, so everybody needs different type of things. Like, you know, food can be your therapy, any type of thing can be your therapy. But what about food, and what about clean food, healthy food? What about that attracted you, and what about that shaped you into who you are today?
Oh, I'm going to tell you straight up. It's two things. The first thing is when I was studying the Bible, and it said that I asked my grandmother, who I thought was the Bible authority of the world. She like Jesus Christ head cheerleader. You know what I'm saying? Like, I said, my mom, why men live 600, 900, 700 years, but then all of a sudden only 70 and 80 years? And she showed me where it said God cut man's my lifespan down to 120 years. Because if not, if we live 600 years, we'd find a way to do dirt. Like, you know what? As good as I've been for 400 years, I'm gonna take 200 years to just do dirty stuff. You know, I just want to see what it's like over there. I'm already 400. You know what I mean? Like, so we'd find a way to do dirt. So he cut mankind's lifespan down to 120. So I said immediately, oh, I'm not leaving here at 70, 80 with still 50, 40, 50 years still on the tape. I'm trying to get all that. I need all that. How do I get to all of that? That made me go back in the Bible to Adam. The first time God said that man was perfect was Adam, and Adam's diet was not the diet that we eat today. Adam was physically perfect. So I said, how do we go back to that? And the answer is veganism. Adam was a vegan. It wasn't common to eat meat back in biblical days like that and all of that. And them dudes lived. It said that Moses was 120 years old when God took him. He didn't die. He could still father children and fight in wars. It just said, God was like, kick your time up, buddy. Like, I'm going to have to take you. Moses was like, all right, but he went on his own too, standing up. You know what I mean? Like, so the second thing was I met a man who was 86 years old and goes around the world challenging people, runs in marathons, and he's undefeated, and he looks like he's 45, and he will out push up you. I met a sister. There's a sister in California right now that's 73 years old who looked like, Lord have mercy. Her name is Chef Babette. She owns a restaurant, a vegan restaurant in LA. And when I tell you, this woman is impressive. Her body struck, the way she toned her body, she will get down and do a plank on you for like 5 straight minutes and talk smack to you, talk a little shit to you while she's down there, you know what I'm saying? And do out push up most dudes that I know. This woman is phenomenal. When I seen that, and then I'm sorry, a third thing. Lastly, I had to do a study for one of my classes. There are places on this planet called blue zones. These are places where the people who live in them all live to be over 100 years old. Only one of these places is in the United States of America, and it's in Loma, California. In this little town of Loma, everybody in there is a centurion. Everybody in there is over 100 years old, and they still, and it was funny because I had to study a video I seen on PBS. The old head doctor that lived there said, they was like, do y'all still do everything? He was like, yeah, we do everything, including having sex. I still get down, baby. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I was like, oh, okay. So nobody can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing about getting years out this joint. You know what I mean? So I dedicated my mind to how do I get that? That's what I want. While everybody else chase other things, I'm looking at that like that's what I want.
I kind of was like thinking about how I was going to change my life, because I was like, man, I see so many different people. They get to 60 or 70 years old. They looking about 100 something, you know? And I was like,
Right.
I can't be like that. I don't want to be like that.
I don't
see
want
my,
to.
yeah. And then, you be like, you see that black cracking sometimes. So they say black don't crack. Some of that black is cracking. And, I feel like all of that literally transitions back to what we eat and what we consume. And a lot of
It
people don't
absolutely
think that.
does.
Yeah, and
Absolutely does.
a lot of people just want to eat and eat and eat certain things, and it doesn't. It like you are what you eat. It
Right.
really is real, people. You really are what you eat. So
Your
that is.
diet affects the way you think, the way you process information. For instance, what's one of our problems in urban schools? These children go to school without breakfast, something real simple. They eat a Snickers on the way to school, some soda, they shouldn't have a Pepsi. Okay, that's empty carbs and bad sugars, right? That's why by noon, they ready to fight everything. They cussing the teacher out. They ready to flip out. You know what I'm saying? And then the stinking behind state says that a pack of ketchup and an order of fries is sufficient for vegetable content for the day. They throw the apple in the trash. So these little kids is eat for lunch. They want Pizza Hut and Taco. They want, you know what I mean? Garbage. And we go ahead and promote it. And these companies go ahead and promote that. That's why these kids is getting stupider. That's why I'm sorry, but that's why they struggling in school. They got to take elements out of school because kids can't handle it. And now you fuse that with a kid that's been on social media all day. Oh, this kid screwed up. This kid liable to chop his grandmama up and put her in the oven. And that's a true story. I seen a little boy chop his grandmama up, put her in the oven because he couldn't play the video game. Why? Because he probably was malnourished, because he probably been eating Skittles and Snickers all day. Because nobody make this boy a home cooked meal. You know what I mean? So you got problems like urban areas being in what's called food deserts, where it means they cannot access fresh foods. All they got is the bodega at the end of the block or 7-Eleven near, but they got to travel a distance to get to a supermarket to get fresh fruits and vegetables and produce. If you see how many of them places exist in this country, you'll be shocked. You take advantage going to be able to get some strawberries when you want. I met a 9-year-old girl that never had a real strawberry in her life. I gave her a strawberry. She said, what's that? I said, it's a strawberry. She said, no, it ain't. She thinks strawberry tastes like candy, like Skittles strawberry flavor. I said, this ain't no strawberry. I said, oh, God, it's a strawberry. That'll break your heart. And that's why, you know what I mean? That's how important food is, yo. You arguing at the job, your boss getting on your nerves, you can't take it, you let it build up, you snap. What you have for lunch? What you have for breakfast that day? 6 cups of coffee, no real good nourishment, no water yet. You know what I mean?
The kids nowadays, they're not only getting dumber, but they're getting smaller. Like you see these kids, like they 18 years old, they looking about 13, right? So that's another
Right.
thing. And another thing that I wanted to bring up too is when we talk about someone who's trying to be productive in their day, say you work and then you run a business. How you gonna have time for your business if when you wake up in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, you drinking 5 cups of coffee, you get home, say, 8, 9 o'clock at night or whatever the case may be. Say you even get home earlier in the day, 3, 4 o'clock. You don't have the right food in your body, you're not going to have no energy to do anything. If you eat at a certain amount later in the day, if you start, and another thing about it is, let me ask you this, right? Because when you work, and you when you're working and you're trying to still run a business, right? How can you balance the way that you eat and what you eat in the day? Because like, we gonna dive right in, y'all. Like, we're diving right in. We ain't gonna cut no corners. We're not gonna sugarcoat nothing. So I
Nothing.
want to dive right
We don't
into.
we don't do sugar.
Nah, we don't do sugar. Nah,
We
no
don't do
sugar, no sugar. We like the good sugar, the real sugar.
Mm.
So let me ask you, how do you balance working 9 to 5, 5 to 9, whatever the case may be, and still be able to afford the right foods? Because like we talked about, the bodegas, and there being a Burger King and a Taco Bell on every single block in every single neighborhood. How do you balance getting your food in and your cheat days? How do you create that balance as a busy, productive person?
So I think the answer to that question would be relative to each individual person. So let me give you 3 baseline thoughts. Before I say that, I like to quote the Bible on different things because the Bible is the dopest mirror that you could use to see different situations. You know what I mean? Whether you're religious or not, it don't even matter. I'm not super religious. You know what I mean? It's just that the story. So real quick, there's a cat named Naaman. He's the captain of the army. And so he got a sickness. So he sends his servant to a man of God to inquire of him, like, yo, show me how to get better. So the man of God tells the servant, like, just tell him to dip himself in the river 7 times or whatever. You know what I mean? So the servant come back, tell Naaman, like, it can't be that easy. It can't be that easy. Surely this dude is just blowing me off. Gets on his horse, rides out to see the boy himself. Hey, man of God, what's up with that? Like, what's up with the river? You know what I mean? He said, boy, did you not hear me? I told you. Go ahead and dip yourself. And if I'm not mistaken, Naaman died because his stupid behind wouldn't just believe that it was that simple. So here's what I'm saying. It starts with a simple thought. How much do you love yourself? How much do you love yourself? What is your self-worth? You run a business, as much as you plan and say, all right, a schedule, right? You got to run a business. You got to be a little bit adept at scheduling, right? Because you got to be able to use your time wisely, right? And one of them slots of your schedule need to be prep my food, prep my lunch for the day, prep my food. Is no excuse. Is no excuse. It's just as important as any one of those things. The first thing on your list should be alkalize your body first thing in the morning. One of the simple things you could do, drink some water with a little bit of lemon in it. Real lemon. Take a lemon and squeeze it in your water. A little bit of lemon juice. Activate so many different synapses and things up in here. I ain't even got to get into it all scientifically. I guarantee, and then tell me how you feel, it brightens you up, pal. Wake you up. You know what I'm saying? You brush your teeth, wash your face. You up now. You ready to rock. But you got to put in one of them slots. Take care of my food. Make sure I got my sustenance. If you don't, it's very simple. If you don't, you will run into issues. You will run into issues with stamina. You'll run into issues with keeping your energy up, cloggy, and then you're going to start making bad choices. You're going to go to the coffee or the sugar or the get me by thing, or somebody or in the lunchroom today, they got this particular thing, and ooh, you hungry, now you're going to eat all these carbs. It's going to slow you down. You all type of manifestations going sideways. When the easiest bullet to shoot at it is make sure I take care of my own food. If that mean last night before I went to bed, I got them plastic containers together and put my food together or whatever. If that means on Sunday for an hour, I take an hour and prep me some stuff for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then on Wednesday, I take an hour, prep me some stuff for the rest of the. That's what I mean. It's relative to you and what you got to do, but that's what you got to do. But it starts with the idea, what are you worth? You can't run the business and help nobody else. What are you worth? What are you going to do? for yourself.
And when we talk about being productive and how you're focused, just like David said, putting a little bit of lemon in there is going to help you stay focused throughout the day. It's going to help your digestive system. Just being
Mhm.
able to wake up in the morning. And here's another thing I want to throw in there too. And I want to kind of ask you this as well, kind of like double-sided question, right? What time do you think people should actually start eating hard foods? Because I know when I first started out, I wanted to stop eating after 8 o'clock at night, and I didn't start eating like solid foods until around noon in the noon. So how do you feel about, waking up in the morning and going straight to the food?
So again, it becomes relative to a person's schedule because I can't answer that question for somebody who's an overnight worker or work a certain kind of shift. But I would say just on average, let's say all right, I say if you work anywhere in the realm from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., let's call it that. Let's take that 12-hour block, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I think that it's best for you to consume a light breakfast of some carb. See, again, you need everything that they say is bad for you is bad for you in a certain sense, but you need some of it too. So, for instance, you need cholesterol for your brain. Brain function is cholesterol. It's just a certain kind of cholesterol, the right cholesterol. You need fat, the right fat, not the bad fat. You need carbs, the good carbs, not the bad carbs. You know what I mean? So you need some of these things. So I would say definitely fruit and things that help get your digestion kicked up, something with ginger in it. People like to have smoothies with a little ginger in it. I'd say if you need some carbs, if you do a certain kind of work, then maybe you might need some protein and a muffin or something like that. What you don't need is grease, heavy grease first thing in the morning. Definitely don't need that. No heavy dairy, I would say. So no heavy cheeses. But if you do something light like yogurt or cottage cheese, that's preferable. You know what I mean? But you don't really need a cheesesteak in the morning or the very first thing that you eat. You shouldn't probably do something like that. You know what I mean? But the other thing is time is important. The doctor I work for, Dr. Baxter Montgomery, would say it's best to eat your solid foods from 11 a.m. to about 4 or 5 p.m. And after that, either nothing or very, very, very light stuff. And there's a lot of stuff you should stay away from. For instance, you don't want to eat a salad before you're going to go to bed because your body won't be able to digest that roughage. As much as you think you're doing good eating a salad, though, but what you're doing, you might give yourself, so people with acid reflux, for instance, you done had them tomatoes and certain kinds of lettuces and onions on a salad, and then you ate dinner and just went to bed, right? So you're going to have acid reflux or GERD, you know what I mean? Almost definitely. So is certain things, you want to do either in between that time of eating dinner. So that's why you might want to eat dinner earlier so that you can go ahead. And then when you go to sleep, you might not have the burning in the throat and the this and the that. If you're going to have pizza, you may want to have it for lunch as opposed to dinner. If you're going to have heavy pasta and tomato saucy stuff or heavy spicy stuff, if you're going to do it, I would say you might want to do it earlier than later.
When we talk about like a healthy diet, we want to talk about, fruits, getting yourself right in the right way, clean food for the.
Alkaline.
Yeah, alkaline. You need alkaline. And just like you say, you need the right type of things. You need the right type of carbs. You need the right type of sugars as well. You can get, the H3O2s from a smoothie versus just getting up and drinking a soda or something like that, right? So let me ask you this, like, when we shift into that organic, that clean lifestyle or that diet, right? What do you think, like, turns people off? Because a lot of people think like that organic or the vegan lifestyle, some people say it's worse in some cases, when you eat a lot of processed foods in that type of sense. But what do you think is the biggest misconceptions about that organic or that vegan lifestyle, or as I like to call it, that plant-based lifestyle, just living a plant-based lifestyle or having a plant-based diet, right? What do you think the biggest misconceptions that turn people off and that make them feel like, nah, I don't want to partake in that?
My sister, first of all, let me make a distinction and a very clear separation. This may be one of the most prolific misconceptions. Vegan and plant-based, two different things. Vegan and plant-based is two different. Plant-based denotes minimal processing as well as whole food plant-based ingredients. Vegan means simply no meat.
Okay.
And that's different because the Impossible Burger at Burger King is vegan, but it's not plant-based. It's not really plant-based because it's been super processed. It have other things that you can't pronounce in the description of it. You dig what I'm saying? But it is vegan. And so again, one of the things I teach and consult with people on is levels to this thing. I'd rather you eat the Impossible Burger than the Whopper, right? But at a certain point, I want to take you off the Impossible Burger, and I'm gonna show you how to make your own plant-based burger out of nuts, seeds, and beans. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I don't make general recipe videos. I don't do that because every recipe not for everybody. There might be elements of this recipe not good for this or this other person or vegan person or wherever they at, vegan, plant-based, whole food, plant-based. So over the last couple of years, those things have separated. Veganism is like the bottom level. Whole food, plant-based is up here. Okay, so and then the other thing is it is not that much more expensive to eat organic, right? Especially when you consider that you don't have to have everything organic. Okay. So for instance, things with a thick rind, technically you don't need to have organic. Why? Because the meaning of organic mostly is that it was naturally raised or produced and less spray and pesticides and stuff on it, right? Yeah, if you take the shell off of an avocado, the pesticide really didn't affect it. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
So some things, you may not have to totally have organic, but anything that would have been exposed, like exposed leaves, like spinach, organic spinach, yeah, you want to get organic. And if you really compare, it's a couple cents more. And if you think about it this way, that doctor bill is way more expensive. The doctor bill way more expensive. And again, let's go back to my very first thought that goes through it all. How much do you love yourself?
Right.
Will you look at something that you know is better for you and something that is cheaper and make a decision based on it being cheaper? I'll go hustle this back up, this extra 30 cents. Oh, I'll go grind it back up then. I'll go get out and get that. I'm eating organic when I can. You see what I'm saying? And also be realistic. Be realistic. Don't live by somebody else's unrealistic idea of it. And again, that's why I consult with people so that we can tailor something that is directly for you, whether it's a meal plan, a way of thinking about how to go about your meals. I'm not going to snatch everything away from you. I'm going to slowly and methodically remove pieces, and by the time I finish with you, you're going to tell me, oh, I don't even want that no more. I don't even do that no more. I learned this and I'm on this now. And veganism is the intro into you coming off the grid on not only food, but because we connect it holistically, mind, body, and spirit, it's going to lead you to other spiritual things that's going to help you, other things that's going to help your mind, increase your mind, to keep your mind growing. The best way to beat Alzheimer's is to keep using this, to keep testing it, to keep stretching it. It's like a muscle. Keep stretching it. Keep learning stuff you ain't know yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
What can someone do right now? And I know you said it always varies, right? Just give me a game plan, just a quick little game plan on how someone can start today and figuring out how to transition, because that transition is always the hardest part. Transition is always the hardest part. So what can I do today to start creating a healthier lifestyle and a healthier diet in my kitchen?
First of all, let me say this, because I don't want nobody to mess with you. They put the little disclaimer. They'll say, I ain't a health professional. This ain't medical advice.
Right,
This, that,
yeah.
and the third. So before I say that, I am a health professional and I got the degrees to prove it. But I'm going to still say seek medical advice first before you follow anything I say. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we like snowflakes. Ain't no two the same. Something that's good for that one person might not be good for you. But if you want to, but my baseline, I would consult people on. I would say, one, take salt out of your diet 3 days a week immediately. And this is what I mean. Some things going to be salty, no extra salt. Don't you take the salt shaker and add no salt. And if you're going to eat something that has salt, try to make it sea salt. If it's going to be sea salt. And the highest level of sea salt is pink Himalayan. If somebody putting pink Himalayan in it, yeah, me. But if you making a recipe, you cooking whatever, try to you go out and get you some. Matter of fact, throw your regular salt away and go get sea salt. Throw your regular salt away immediately and go get sea salt. Number two, your microwave is now paperweight, the biggest paperweight in your house. I reject the microwave for all reasons. There's nothing good about the microwave. Absolutely nothing. Get rid of it. Number three, let's say you took salt out your diet for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Tuesday and Thursday, take dairy all the way out. No dairy for them 2 days. Then tell me in 2 weeks how you boo-boo different and how your stomach feels. Tell me the difference. Fill those spaces with at least 1 day of what we call a raw diet. It might be a salad. It's just something that's not super cooked. Now, noodles and rice got to be cooked, right? So I wouldn't suggest you go around crunching on some raw noodles. You know what I mean? But I would say if you have cooked noodles, put some raw broccoli with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And here's the thing, if you just got to have meat with it, okay, then have your meat prepared in a way that's not fried any other way, whether it's baked, and don't super scorch your meat. Cook it till it's done, but don't super blacken and brown it. That you know what I'm saying? Do things like that in the in between on those days. And then you come back and tell me how, and also the trick we said with the water and the lemon in the morning. I ain't gonna give them too much at once, but I tell you what, you do those couple of things and then you'll be ready to take more steps going forward. You can hit me up. I got a little small nominal consultant fee. We can work that out. You know what I'm saying? I'm with the barter and trade, but I'll show you what to do to get to the next route. Cause I'm 52, you know what I'm saying? They keep telling me my skin look good, you know what I mean? I feel great, my spirit is crazy. I can do everything I could have. When I woke up December 23rd, the year 2000, I feel the same way physically today, December 23rd, 2025. I can do the exact same things. If I wanted to go play basketball, I'd go run full court basketball with my homies. Yeah, the OG would be maybe a little bit winded or tired, but I can run with the young bull. I can go out and run. I can run when I want to. I work out, I go to the gym. I'm not perfect. I do have my slide back days. For instance, this is the time of year where you would slide back. I want you to go, because of the holistic idea, I want you to go to that family dinner. I want you to sit under your elders and have that time with them for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then I want you to get right back on your soldier mode when you finish and go right back to your diet and go right back to the things you're doing. And guess what? You'll feel better. You won't beat yourself up. Because when you keep lying to yourself, you'll start backsliding and cheating. You tell everybody you're a vegan, but you got McDonald's wrappers under your seat because you're sneaking out on lunch and having Whoppers because you're hungry because you ain't do what? You didn't prep my food in that slot that I told you to. You didn't prep my food. So now you're lying to people. Yeah, I'm vegan. Well, I smell sausage on your breath. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? But maybe vegan is not all the way 100% for you. It's okay if you tailor it. It's okay if you do it 1 day a week. So do that. You want to do vegan twice a week. Tell me how your boo-boo change. Tell me how your skin start clearing up a little bit. Tell me how your attitude or spirit change. And it's going to happen and you're going to be like, you know what? Dang, you know what? I do feel good. Out of nowhere. You kind of just didn't even really. Maybe it's not the vegan stuff I've been doing and all that stuff. Maybe it's not that. It's just a good time of year. It's Christmas time. And then when it ain't Christmas time, you go, you know what? I feel really good. No, seriously, I feel really good right now. I feel clear. Oh, that guy put me on to something. For real. Forgive yourself if you backslide. Just be realistic. You know what I mean? Don't go all the way in. Okay, you had a donut and you weren't supposed to. Don't eat the whole box then, like, oh, fuck it. I got it. Ate a donut. Now I might as well eat the whole thing. Don't do that. You know? I wouldn't eat certain things together. Like, so if you suffering already from high cholesterol, a lot of people like mayonnaise on a cheeseburger. Pick one. Pick one. Don't do both. A real little thing, a little tweak, but it make a major difference. Don't have one or the other, right? Limit the amount of times you have fried food a week or eat out a week. Limit the amount of time. Say, all right, these will be my reward days for keeping this thing up. I'm all for that. You say Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I will sharpen my diet. On Thursday, I'm going to go ahead and do my thing. Then I expect you to get back on Friday or Saturday, right? With your program, you know what I mean? That's up to you. I'm not going to, nobody going to stand behind you and be like a drill sergeant. That's up to you. How much, let's go back. How much do you love yourself? Will I prepare my own foods in there? Will I follow the program? Or will I bullshit? Real simple naming. Dip yourself in the river 7 times, naming.
Because that's what it all comes down to. Like, are you ready to prepare yourself to be able to be disciplined for that? And if you are, then just stay consistent. And like you said, you can cheat some days. Sometimes you might want to, you might want some fish and then you might want some chicken the next day. It ain't nothing wrong with that. But always make sure you're adding before you subtract. Like, say you and I don't mean like, adding different foods. I'm saying, okay, now I'm going to add this certain thing in my diet. I'm going to, instead of eating that donut for breakfast and going to Dunkin' Donuts, I might just stay at home and put that lemon in my water and relax, have a cup of tea, something like that. Although those little things are going to make a huge, huge difference. All right.
Mhm.
So let me kind of transition, right? Because you said you poked on it a little bit, right, with the consulting, right? What do you really look for when you're ready to close a client, and what's your goal? Like, if you're consulting with someone, if me and you were on a call and I'm like, man, David, I want to get healthy, I want to reach this certain goal before this deadline, right? What are you looking for as the consultant in your clients?
To be honest, I'm looking for how serious you're going to be, because I'm not going to waste your time or mine. Like, if I don't feel like is you really going to do it. And I'm a person where, like, you can't mess up right after we had the conversation. It's one thing if you got 3 months into it and you messed up, but if the very first thing you did after we done talked, you done went, well, then what are we talking about?
Right.
How important of it is it to you? And also, I'm not just going to take your money. I'll give you your money back. Yeah. It ain't about the dollar. I'll give you your money back. Yeah. Like, nah, like, no, we need to get healed. But the other thing is, you're going to tell me. That's what's going to want. All I'm doing is pulling it out of you. I'm the conduit that's helping you release it. You're going to tell me what you want out of it. You're going to tell me what you want to get there. And all I'm going to do is give you a roadmap to get there, to how do you effectively get there. And it's going to be a combination of holistic things: mind, body, and spirit. Body is the food, but mind and spirit is what I'm trying to get to you first, so that I got to get to your mind first so you can build up the spirit that's going to get you through the physical part. If you look at it like that, but it starts here. Everything starts here.
When we always have these conversations, when you eat dead stuff, like if you're eating meat 7 days out of the week, that stuff is going to, not only is your body not going to be able to process it, but like you're eating a dead animal, like in plain terms, right? So that's going to start rotting in your body. That's why we sweat. That's why you get certain things. That's why you feel a certain way. So once you start eating fruits, things that are alive, you're going to get different thoughts. You're going to feel differently. So I like that you brought that up. And let me ask you this, right? Because you know, when you're a consultant, right, you in the trenches, like you asking people. Sometimes you get clients, and you might not necessarily like them too much. Sometimes you get clients that you know you grow a relationship with. Like some of my clients, I'm friends with still to this day, right? But
Hmm.
what was your worst experience that you had with a client as far as like the consistency, or you know what results that they had, or what results you expected out of them?
Well, to be honest, first of all, I never had I never had a bad interaction with a client that was based on like some type of disrespect or this, that, or the third. My worst interaction with a client was the fact that we lost a client. This gentleman was his heart was in such a condition that he needed to maintain a very strict plant-based diet. There is very many elements he could not even have a sprinkle of. And because we were able to effectively provide him meals over the holiday period, it may sound like a joke, but this gentleman really was one chicken wing away from death. He really was. And that's exactly what happened when he got with family. He couldn't maintain his diet. And we had made strides with this gentleman because he came to us already in a elevated stage of decay, with certain various ailments. And so the little bit, we got to cling on to the little bit of progress as we make. We was making progress with this gentleman. I was very much looking forward to seeing him recover, and we lost him. And yeah, that bugged us all out. Like, man, like and I was the executive chef of the of the kitchen that attached to the doctors. The place still exists. It's in Houston, Texas. It's called Dr. Montgomery's Garden Kitchen. And but yeah, that was a crazy interaction. But as far as, no, personality wise, no, everybody loves me. I keep it real with people, and I'm very worldly, so. And I believe in energy transference. You know what I'm saying? I would much rather you're going to remember me for my positivity, not because of how crazy I got. I damaged myself as a younger man. I had anger issues. I'm telling you, I had anger issues. You know what I mean? So I did a lot of damage with my mouth and with physical violence. You know what I mean? I was born in a violent world. And I grew up in a violent, tumultuous environment. You know what I mean? And so I even had a therapist tell me that I experienced the same level of trauma as somebody who had been to multiple wars. That's a fact. That's in writing. You know what I mean? And But I don't mess with my shmoney, so we not having no bad interactions with clients. You know what I mean? There's a couple of them I hung the phone up and was rolled my eyes or whatever, but nah, we gonna keep it bubbly and light. Plus, I'm a Rubik's Cube. I'm able to transform myself and be whatever I need. I'm like water. Bruce Lee said, be like water, because it can assume any vessel it needs to be in. So you can't get on my nerves as a client. You could, let me not say that. You can get on my nerves. But for the most part, I'm going to flow with you, and I'm going to try to fit where I can. And if I can't, I'm going to show you where else you might be able to go.
Understand that when you're an entrepreneur or when you do own a business, there are going to be ups and downs, but all that has to deal with your mindset. When we talk about the way you feel about yourself, and like you said, the way that, do you love yourself? Are you putting yourself up on that pedestal, or are you giving yourself options as to whether you're going to come up, or you're going to be successful, or you're going to be destructive? And all that goes back to the mindset. It literally all has
keeps
to
go-
do with the mindset.
keeps
It's
going right
a,
back to the first
it
point we made.
does. It does. And
It
that's
always
so
does.
real. It's so real because it all has to do with how you value yourself and what you're willing to do to get yourself to that next level. So that kind
Yeah.
of helps me transition. I'm glad that we brought this up right now because it kind of helps me transition into entrepreneurship, right? When we talk
Yes.
about entrepreneurship, how important do you think is it as when it comes to a productive entrepreneur to eat the right things?
I think it's a combination of I think it's a combination of wellness behaviors necessary, with food and nutrition definitely being one part of it, but also something like rest. And that comes in according to your scheduling and stuff like that. We have a tendency to want to run ourselves into the ground as entrepreneurs. No, I am a big proponent of rest. In fact, to go back to something you started us with, the idea of fasting. What is that? Fasting is a recalibration. Every machine have a period where it stopped. Your iPhone last week shut down for the new 26 update. Why? Because it's recalibrating. It did what? It fasted from you using it for about 30 minutes so that it could what? Recalibrate. The human machine needs to recalibrate too. Shutting it down for a minute, shutting those systems down for a minute. It's what we call peer-reviewed factual science. It's factual medicine. It's peer-reviewed factual medicine that fasting is actually good for you. Shutting down is actually good for you. You know what I mean? So as an entrepreneur, you need to fast from your pursuits for a time. And it's okay to party as hard, to play as hard as you work. I'm a proponent of that. So for me, I'm a Scorpio, I'm a water sign. Water helps to bring my emotions down. Let's make it holistic, right? So not only eating proper, but so what I do is living in the beautiful state of Virginia right now, I can go to Virginia Beach, even in the wintertime, because once I'm near that water, it brings me to, I pay for a gym membership and they have a swimming pool. So I can go swimming and sit in the sauna, any whirlpool sauna, anytime I feel unbalanced. And when I want to, you know what I mean? So that part is important just as much as the food, making sure you're getting some rest, making sure you're getting some, and also whatever you into. I'm not your judge. I don't care if you go to church. I don't care if you pray to a head of lettuce. I'm not telling you to, you know what I mean? But whatever you do that brings you up spiritually, that must be included in your overall formula for your entrepreneurship. It has to. How else you going to move? You got to be okay spiritually, mentally, and physically. So it's takes us right back to those simple things.
When we talk about fasting, what do you like, what type of fast, because there's a lot of type of fastings. I've really only done like the intermittent fasting or like fruit fasting for a while. What type of fasting do you promote, and how do you know when it's time to start a fast?
Well, let me make sure I answer this correctly or as best as I can. Let me see. I don't promote a certain type of fasting. I found what works for me. And my fasting I do is not even for necessarily a nutritional aspect. It's for my quote unquote, my basic spiritual belief system. You know what I mean? So, but I know people that are very successful with water fasts. I know people who it toe them up. You know what I mean? I think you can create your own fast. I really do. I think that you can create, you can, you don't need nobody to tell you when and how often to do it. Just do it. Create your own. You know what I mean? Um, a good time to start it though is key though. So I would say, usually at the start of the change of seasons. So especially between fall to winter, and then winter to spring.
Okay.
I think those are, and that aligns with just certain things about ancient, a Chinese traditional medicine, certain things that even in what's called Ayurvedic medicine, which is where the chakra system comes from. There's just certain elements. We don't have the time to get into the brevity of it, but there's just certain things that's very key. So for instance, consuming fruits and vegetables in their natural season adds more benefit than, you know what I mean? So winter vegetables right now do your body better than eating these same vegetables in the summer. You get what I'm saying? When you eat summer vegetables in the summer, that's the maximum potential they can give you in their due season, everything in their due season, right? So, but The Daniel fast is situated, I think, at a good time. A lot of people do the Daniel fast right before Easter. So that's like springish. That's kind of coming out of winter into spring. So that's what I would say, if you were to do it. And that's not a medical, that's not based on medical. That's just based on people I know, what I've done, and what worked for me and some other people that I know.
A lot of it has to do with your spiritual values as well. And then like you said, you can create your own fast. So if your fast is going to consist of not for nutrition, just like you said, maybe your fast is going out to a hot springs, or in Colorado we got a bunch of hot springs. We got like 6 of them.
Yo,
So you
yo.
can go just sit in those healing waters, and
Mm,
that could be a
mm,
fast. That could be a fast.
mm. I
And
want that.
you
I got to come out there.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm going for my birthday. I said that's what I want for my birthday.
Oh,
So, and I think that when we talk about spiritual, like you said, mind, body, and spirit and soul, all
mm,
that like constitutes in a successful person, a productive person, or just someone who can actually believe in themselves to be able to do things on a higher vibration, higher level, right? So,
mhm.
like you said, you've been in the culinary arts in your space for 30 plus years, right? Going on, just in that space, in them trenches, right? So let me ask you this, right? And this goes for any type of career, any type of business, but what do you think is the most important thing when you're building that career or that business, or just becoming a entrepreneur itself? Yeah.
Always back to it. Why? Because you're going to have those days where, see, in my day, we had cartoons where you had the devil on one shoulder and it was your conscious, and they would both look like you, and they'd be dressed in a devil costume and an angel costume, and one of them is feeding you negativity, and the other one is feeding you positivity. Which one of them voices you going to listen to? Because they both sound like you, right? Some days you're going to doubt yourself. Some days you're going to worry. You dig what I'm saying? I'm a proponent of meditation and things like that. So, you want to implement stuff like that. But again, because this tells this what to do. This tells this what to do. This can tell your heart, don't put your heart in it. It can tell your heart, yes, put your heart in it. You know what I mean? This could tell you, yes, do that. It could tell you, no, don't do that. And then make this body do what this wants to do. This starts here. It starts here for building it. That's the very important first step. And not only this with the confidence in yourself or lack of whatever, but also study to show thyself approved, put in the 10,000 hours, know it, know what you're doing, know what it is that you're doing, know your strengths, weaknesses, your I forgot what they call this statement when you for big companies, they put out this they have this assessment that they do of the environment that they in before they want to open a business. So what is our competitors doing? How much money is really out there? What's best to flex? So like for me, certain vegan items that people loved in Houston, Texas, where I was, they not so popular here in Williamsburg, Virginia. But another
Right.
set of things I do here is more popular than what I was doing, right? So so now I know my market. So now I know what to market to them. You know what I mean? So this is what I mean by all of this. That goes with all of this. Sharpen yourself, do things to stay focused, do things to replenish your energies so that this can keep functioning like you need it to, or else you'll be pulling the rug out from yourself.
So I kind of want to ask you a few more questions, right?
Mhm.
What should our relationship with food be? And like you always say, it varies from person to person, their values, what they, what their schedule looks like. But what should a productive entrepreneur, what should their relationship be with food? How should they look at food? How should they feel about food? What does that look like?
Um, to be honest, sis, I don't think it's no different from anybody else. You should love food, man. In the code of the words that God spoke to Adam when he told him to live was not only the meaning of exist, like heart start beating, but to live and enjoy the fullness of this earth and of this life experience and journey. All of that was encoded into when he said live, told the flesh to live. So enjoying the fullness of life is a holistic idea. It helps you mentally, spiritually, and physically. Enjoy food. Enjoy the foods you love. Enjoy them. You know what I mean? Find things that are healthy that you enjoy. Nobody died from killing themselves with oranges. There's never, ever been death from watermelon. They lied to us for years. Watermelon's freaking awesome. They made us feel bad about it, eating watermelon. Watermelon's freaking awesome. Do you know you're supposed to eat the seeds too of watermelon? A lot of people don't know that. You're supposed to eat the seed of the watermelon. That's why a seedless watermelon is, you might as well eat.
I don't do nothing seedless.
Nah, that's ridiculous. That's so weird. It's so simple that it goes over most people's heads. How the you grew this watermelon with no seeds? You got a Star Trek replicator? You just talk to it. Siri ain't that dope. Siri, make me a watermelon.
That you got in your kitchen right there.
Yo, craziness. But it's so simple. And see, they know this. They know this. People who study, trust me, they know you a target from the time you was in your mama's womb before you was ever breathed a breath. You was already a consumer. They selling your mom Pampers and Similac and got her off. You wouldn't have the issues you had if you was on breast milk. Breast milk, the best thing for mothers. I mean, for a human being. Breast milk, mother's breast milk. But they found ways to get you off breast milk and feed these kids Similac and all this fake stuff, right? But yeah, man, no, your entrepreneurship, no, you should love food. That's why you should make better choices so that the food you're eating is not taking you away from the mission of doing what you need to do. You got meetings, you got to be here, you need to think clear, you got to go in front of these people, ask for money, you know what I mean? You got to take notes, you got to have this, you got to have a labor force, you got a lot of stuff to do.
You should want good food, of course. And I think that's another big misconception about, the organic or even the vegan lifestyle or that type of diet is that once you go vegan or you go organic or plant-based, whatever that looks like for you, then you're not going to have good food anymore. That's completely false. You can actually have some of the best food that you're going to have in your life. So, I think that all comes down to like your relationship with food should be your relationship that you have with anything. If you have a healthy relationship with food, you're going to have a healthy relationship. It's going to mirror through everything else. You're going to have a healthy relationship with your family or your peers or in your career. You're going to see things going more successfully for you. You're going to see change, right? So I definitely like that you shine that light on that. Now, let me ask you one more question before we get out of here, right? I want you to give me a game plan that an entrepreneur or anybody can use if they want to go from eating low vibrational foods or, processed foods, greasy foods, if they want to go from, kind of like, getting out of that lifestyle, like we said, the transition, give them a game plan that they can use right now to start transitioning into a higher vibrational diet or even just an organic diet or anything that's healthier for them. Just give me a quick game plan.
I ain't gonna front. I would have to reiterate certain things we said earlier. Take the slow elimination thing. Excuse me. Slow elimination. Start with dairy and salt first. Whatever meals you have over, let's say, and you can break it up. Let's say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this week. You do not pick up the salt shaker. You do not add salt. Anything you get the low salt version, the low sodium version, or you ask, I don't care if you eat out, ask them to not put salt on it. Eat fries without salt. Low salt ketchup, low sodium, right? At least 3 days with the salt. I'm going to say 2 days on the dairy, right? Especially if you got stomach issues, GERD, acid reflux, constipation, diarrhea, which is really the same thing. Dairy and salt, two of our biggest. Now, if you want to go gangster with it, take bread out your diet 3 days a week. One of the most processed, man cannot live by bread alone, one of the most widely used but highly processed substances on this earth. take bread out your diet. You gonna get a cheeseburger? Go ahead, get it without the bun. Get it on lettuce. Eat it on the lettuce. You know what I'm saying? You can make things, there's a lot you can do. You just got to get out there and see it. What you don't imbibe the idea. Matter of fact, this is my most important key because again, everything starts right here. So let's say this the game plan. Don't imbibe them ideas. Who told you that it was too expensive? Who told you it was difficult? If you go into it with the idea, then yeah, you're going to find difficulties. It's not. It's not.
No.
Caring about yourself is not difficult. Taking care of yourself is not difficult. You got something that you overspent on yourself near you right now, some pocketbook, some boots or coat or something, pair of Jordans, something that you overspent on, but you was like, I'm worth it. Guess what then? You are worth this. And that's where you got to go into it with. You got to go into it with that idea. So do these things. If you gangster, take bread out your diet 3 days a week, 4, if not 4, right? No salt. Matter of fact, let's add sugar. No added sugar. Only things that's sugarless or at least no fake sugars like high fructose corn syrup. One of the enemies of human beings, high fructose corn syrup, an absolute enemy. No sodas for you. No cakes and cookies at night. I dare you to take that stuff out of your diet for 3 days a week. Pick 3 days. And then on the other days, don't gorge yourself on it because you was off them 3 days. Like, I'm going to eat this whole bunch of cookies and Chips Ahoy's now. Don't do that. Oh, the other thing, let me say this real quick about any fast you do. Just as important about what you keeping out is what you put in. So after a fast, you can't go eat a greasy cheesesteak and some fried chicken. After a fast, you have to slowly come back into it. Broths and soups, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Some light salads, you know what I mean? Light pastas or whatever. But you can't go hard when you come out of the fast, right?
You want to know how I know that this works? Because literally what you just spoke on, David, is what I did. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, I was pushing like 320 pounds. Now I'm down to 240.
Mm-hmm.
And this is literally what I did, y'all. I stopped eating bread. So when I went, instead of going to Burger King and getting a Whopper, let's go cook. And then another thing about it is when you go to the grocery store versus taking out that, fast food money out, you're going to be
Talk
able to
about
shop
it.
for the month. You're going to be
Talk
able to shop
about
for
it.
the month and you're going to eat right. So take that bread and use some lettuce.
Who
Another
told
thing-
you that it's more expensive to eat vegan? Who told you that? Probably somebody that wasn't vegan.
Yeah, exactly.
told you
Somebody
that?
who ain't never did it before. Because it actually, in some cases, you can save money. If
You
I'm going on a
save
week
money.
fast and all I need is a bag of apples and a bag of oranges, that's $10 for a whole week's worth of food. So let's talk
You know what I'm
about it.
saying?
So yeah, so that's real talk. So what he's saying to y'all is not no cap, no sugar, no nothing added, no salt added to none of that. That's real life. Because another thing that you guys can start doing is instead of drinking those lemonades, put some lemonade in there. You can make your homemade stuff. First thing every person needs to invest in is either a juicer or a blender. That's one thing you can start investing in. So
Yeah.
these are little things that we can start doing today, y'all, that is going to fester into a big impact. And you're going to see something crazy. Like watch you take that out your diet 3 days a week. You're going to lose 20 pounds in a month, So
Yeah.
all those things are important.
One of my clients actually literally now makes her own like juices from scratch.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they healthier, and she uses agave. Agave is a plant-based sweetener, and it does not. We did the research. It does not spike your glycemic index, so it's safe for somebody who's a diabetic. And it's sweet, and it makes your drink. It'll make drinks taste good. It'll make anything you sweet. So I make vegan brownies with it and all type of stuff, and you wouldn't even miss the sweetness. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of people. They'll go onto vegan sites, and I think it's maybe even a conspiracy theory. These cats go into vegan sites to push false ideas. You know what I'm saying? About certain things like tofu make men grow boobies. That's insanity.
Ridiculous.
That is utter insanity.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's a lot of false information out there. It's not more expensive, and if it is, it's only a tad bit more. It's certain things that may be a little more expensive. So, like, excuse me, I need a drink. My lips getting dry. I keep licking them, but certain things may be more expensive, like the cooking oils or certain little additives to make sauces or dressings or things like that. Certain little elements like that may be a little more. Olive oil is more expensive than vegetable oil, but you also don't deep fry in olive oil, so you ain't using as much, right? You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, to fry something and then reuse the oil to fry something again is just, I mean, we do it, but it's absolutely unhealthy. It's absolutely unhealthy. You're going to encounter unhealthy things throughout a day. You breathing in heavy metals. It's certain things you ain't going to be able to avoid. What we doing and talking about is a step toward mitigating some of the rest of those things, because you may not ever reach a state where you can address every last one of them. But you got environmental things that's making you sick and making you unwell. You see what I'm saying? So food is the one silver bullet that could cut through all of those things that's going on and help all of them, every last one of them. Mental health, physical health, the things that's happening in the environment to you, the things that's happening to you mental, spiritual, and physically. Food is the one silver bullet. Religion ain't gonna stop hunger, right? Food is the one thing though, but food can help you think different about and accept and pray more and have, better things going on up here. You know what I mean? So
Just like David just said, there's other things that food aids in. Another thing that we haven't spoke on a lot, and we ain't gonna dive too deep into it, is diseases. Diseases is gonna be another thing you can use to fight against with food. So you can use your food. You can go on fast, and that's gonna help your body get rid of all those toxins, all those bad things, or the things that you couldn't process. It's gonna help you get it out, right? We touched a little bit on it, but what's your poop looking like? If you looking a little solid or something, when I went on a fast, I didn't poop for like the last half of it, because once you flush it all out, you see like, damn, you're not really supposed to be, pooping that much. But that's a whole nother situation. But I want to close out and say this, and I kind of want you to iterate on this. Just give a closing thoughts, right? Your relationship with food is going to, mirror a lot of things. Like I said, you're going to be able to be more productive. You're going to have a lot of more energy. You're going to feel better about yourself. And on top of that, you're going to be healthy. Your skin's going to clear up. You're going to be able to, you're not going to have diarrhea. Anything, all those little things are going to aid in you becoming more successful in your life, in your career, in your relationships, in the way that you feel about yourself, your confidence. So all that goes back to you and your relationship with food and your relationship with yourself. So with that being said, David, please close it out and give us where we can find you, how we can support your movement. If somebody want to come in and get in a new slot for one of your consulting pages, let us know how we can come support you and how we can get in contact with you.
you can check my website at www.thechefsoul, THECHEFSOUL. You can find me on Facebook under David Alexander, aka Chef Soul. You can find me on Instagram under Xanders_culinary. So it's like Alexander, but we just took the ALE out. So it's XANDERS, Xanders_culinary. That's on Instagram. And you can holler at me. I have one of them link in bio joints that when you click in my bio, it'll take you to this page that have all my other, you know what I'm saying, links to take you to different places. So like my podcast, it'll have a podcast link. It'll have links to everything. And I believe my phone number is associated to all of them. So the phone number, you can contact me. Let me get that phone number out, actually. It's 215-821-6605. That's my business line. You can actually just leave a message. That was actually the simplest thing of all those steps I just said. But see how hard it is to go to the simplest thing first? It's hard to just go right to the simplest thing first. We always overshoot in our thinking.
If you guys want to see David back on the podcast, you guys want to see him dive into more and learn more from him, you guys got to comment David in the comments. Let us know how we did. Let us know if there's anything you think we missed and anything you want us to dive more into. But with that being said, I appreciate you, David. Thank you for coming on. And this is another episode of the Wealthy and Healthy Podcast with your host with the most, KDK Capri. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one.
Thank y'all. Be safe. Happy holidays.
Yes, sir.
Mm.